Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we are taking a look at a pen that comes in this packaging. This is a retro 1951 Tornado. You'll recognize this tube from all sorts of other retro 51 Tornado-y products. I really like this tube as a box. It's way more interesting than like a regular box. It's not as useful as some of the other companies, which will include like a sleeve or something like that with it. But the cool thing about this is that when you take the bottom off, it serves as a nice pen stand. So you can stick that on your desk and you've got a nice pen stand. As you can see, this is an orange pen. This is an orange fountain pen, in fact. Inside here, you'll see there's some documentation. You can take a look at that when you get one of these, if you get one. Also, some nice padding at the top, which I hadn't noticed until I looked at it on video. There's a little padding in there in case your pen's rattling around or comes loose from the bottom, which is a nice high-density foam. And it's actually a little bit tough to get out, but I suppose with enough shipping stress or bouncing around, it could come loose. This is a nice high-density foam. It's definitely worth keeping the bottom just as a thing to display it on your desk or some such. You also get a couple of cartridges like this. It'll come in a plastic sheath, the pen will. You get two standard international cartridges, and you can put both of them in the barrel if you like. It also comes with a converter, which is in the pen. So we'll look at that here in a little bit. Put this packaging away. There. All right, so this is your basic fountain pen. Well, not the basic one. This is the new one. I don't even know if they make the shorter ones anymore. I know they make an acrylic version of this, which is about $10 cheaper, but I think it feels much lighter, so I'm glad they sent out this one. Also, by the way, thank you Retro 51 for sending this out for review. I really appreciate it. This is the Retro 51 Tornado Fountain Pen EXT. They added a little bit to the barrel, so you can put a converter in it or two cartridges. Starting at the top, you have this nice orange finial to match the body color. It's got the same knurling around this top bit here that you'll find on the regular Retro 51 ballpoints and roller balls. It says Retro 1951 Tornado along here. There's no other branding on this pen, which I think is kind of nice. It's just on the cap. And if you don't recognize it by the finial anyway, then, I don't know, you've been hiding under a rock perhaps. It's got a nice metal waistband here. It's got a nice clip. The clip actually has plenty of space there if you want to put it on jeans or something. It's a fairly stiff clip, but totally usable. It doesn't take that much force to use it. I haven't put it on my jeans or whatever. I usually put it on the placket of my shirt or in a shirt pocket. I have been carrying this one around recently, and I was wearing this with an orange tie and got some nice comments. On the back of it, you have the anti-finial, the other end of it here, and there's actually a little bit of a raised lip. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but a little bit of a raised lip back here, which kind of finishes it off nicely, gives it a little bit of texture. The body is brass, or rather aluminum, probably. It just says metal on their website, which is a little disappointing. I wish they were a little bit more forthcoming with what it's made of, but it's too light to be brass, I think, so it's got to probably be an aluminum. And then it's lacquered over that. We have a nice orange lacquer and then a lacquer clear coat. And it feels great. It's a very, very nice smooth pen. And I don't detect, I keep wiping it just so I make sure I'm not seeing any issues or scuffs or anything, and I don't see any. This is held up very, very well, just being thrown in pockets. It does unscrew, so don't try to yank the cap off. Inside, you'll see there's some nice threading right here. Not too many threads. It takes about one revolution to unscrew, so that's nice. It's not one of those ones you have to keep unscrewing forever. You'll see it has a nice big number 6 size nib there, which I believe is Schmidt nib, maybe Bach. Probably a Bach nib. This is a medium, and it's marked right there in the middle with the M inside the scroll work. I think the nib is actually a little bit busy, but, whatever, it's fine. Inside the cap, you'll see that there are some plastic threads in there, but they don't go all that far into the cap. And you can see, if you look in there well enough, the back side of that orange finial disc. I was actually a little bit worried that there might be air leakage or something in there that would dry out my nib, but I haven't had that as a problem, so I'm going to say that doesn't really happen. This has a good cap seal, and these threads match up very nicely. Here's the section. The section is a smooth-ish. It's got like a very light texturing to it, perhaps, but a pretty smooth plastic section. Most of the comments that I've seen about this, in fact, pretty much the only negative comments I've seen about this pen are that people don't like the section for one reason or other, and that actually kept me from buying it for a while. But having used this pen for, I don't know, a month or two, I have no problems with this section. It looks maybe a little bit cheap. I guess, like, I've heard that from some people. They wish it was made of, I don't know, something else. Maybe they wish it was rubberized. That would be kind of nice. Or that it was made of metal, but nobody wants a metal section either. So I don't know. Maybe just like a slight redesign of the section would be good. But I mean, the retooling costs have got to be pretty expensive for that. So it has to really be worth it. It unscrews pretty quickly, but I've never actually had it come unscrewed unintentionally, which is nice. This is the converter that Retro gives you with it. It's one of the Schmidt converters. It's not the K5 with the metal banding or anything, but it's a pretty nice converter. I've had no problems with it. You need to take it apart. You just kind of basically like yank it apart, I think. So that works pretty well. Taking this guy off, you'll see that there's actually there are actually like metal threads in there. I'm not actually sure why. Maybe you could get a threaded converter and put it in there, but I don't know why you would. It certainly doesn't seem to need one. But it's got the nice Standard International nipple in there, so if you want to use your, what do you call them, a bulb syringe to blast water through here to clean it, you totally can. No special stuff needed. Well, while we're here, let's go ahead and take the nib out because you can. I hadn't actually tried this, but I have a desk pin from Retro 51 that has entirely deconstructed. Like, the whole sleeve of the thing, the whole collar has come apart. So to unscrew this, you do like so many other nib units, just kind of grab it right here gently and just twist the section. Don't twist this. Twist the section. And then you'll see that it's got, like, the metal threading in here doesn't have anything to do with this nib unit, but the nib unit does have sort of a collar on it. I don't really know why. It seems kind of like an odd choice, but there you have it. And you can actually buy loose nibs in case you want to get different nib units for these pens. You can buy them. They're not terribly expensive online through, like, I don't know, your local fountain pen retailer can probably get a hold of them if they have other Retro 51 stuff. Anyway, there you go. No mess, no fuss. Let's go ahead and put this guy back together. There we go. All right. So that's what the pen looks like and how it... nope, that's it. So anyway, nice looking pen, a good feeling pen in the hand. There's the overhead view of me holding a pen like I would write with it. You can post it. It has that plastic threading in there, which will protect your the body of your pen. It posts okay. It's not super... it's not like loose or anything, but it's not super tight. And it does have a lot of weight up here, so unless you hold it very far back, I would say maybe don't post this pen, but you can if you want. It's not going to be a problem. Now, if you're waving it around the room, you're going to fling it off eventually, but I think this pen is more than adequate for my large hands to hold without posting, so no problems there. Okay, so let's look at some stats as far as size and that kind of jazz, and I'll be right back in a minute with writing sample action. Okay, so let's go ahead and write a couple of things here. First, let's just tell you what this is. This is a Retro 51 Tornado fountain pen. And it is filled with Robert Oster, Purple Rock. This is actually a very nice looking ink, and actually it's probably going to look pretty black on your screen because it looks pretty black here too. It's a very, very, very dark purple, like a purple that's just barely lavender, or rather a black that's just barely lavender. Mr. Nose, goodness, he really wants to try to get on my desk here. All right, so that's what's in the pen, and what's well, let's go ahead and there you go. You can see it's barely purple. Anyway, we'll have that ink review at a later time. This is a medium nib, and it's a pretty wide medium nib. I haven't had any problems with it keeping up. There's just fast scribbles for you. It's got no problems there. It's a fairly wet medium nib, and I really like that. So let's have a little quote right quick. Be our magical cape. This is from Jeff Kanata. On the podcast, which I really like, called We Have Concerns. And that's them talking about becoming a patron. I have no problems with this guy as far as writing. I've never actually even heard somebody complain about the writing experience from this pen. When I hear complaints about it, people are like, the section's kind of terrible, but the writing experience is amazing. I don't care about the section. It feels fine to me, and the writing experience is as advertised. It is great. There are no problems with writing with this guy. Never have been. All right, so that's that. Let's look at it next to a bunch of other pens and call it a day. Okay, so here it is next to a whole bunch of other things. I've got it slotted in here according to price. These are all the kind of pens that are in this price range-ish. The price range for this pen, the Misrip, is $55. The street price is usually around $45 or $44 to $50. Over at Anderson Pens, they've got it listed at $44, which is a totally good price, I think, for this pen. At least. Definitely good. Pardon me. And so here, starting at the left-hand side, we've got the Lamy All-Star, which is a very nice pen. You'll grab this one for $37-ish. Next to it, we have the Faber-Castell Loom, which is one of the ones that I classically have said that new fountain pen users or people looking for that next step should go for. And this one goes for $40. Then we have our Retro 51 at $44. This is the Caran d'Ache 849 fountain pen. And this one goes for $50, give or take. Prices on that one actually seem to vary wildly. So you can get it between like $40 and $60, really, is where the price point is at for that one. And then these two are TWSBIs, and they both go for about $60 each. So we have the TWSBI, well, this is the new one's the 580. This is like an amalgamation of the 530 through the 580, all kinds of different parts. I've had that one for a long time. And then this is the VAC Mini, which is also $60. So, and there aren't that many other things in this price range. This place where the Retro 51 lives is actually a really good place for it, I think, because there just isn't much there. Now, if you go down even a little bit more, like at about $30, you end up with the TWSBI Eco and the Eco T, which is a great starter pen as well. But I think this at $50 or $44 is a very competitive price point and a good value for your pen. All right, so here you can see, there we go, everything's shaken to the bottom. You can see its sort of size. The one that everybody's going to be familiar with are the Lamys, and it's just about exactly the same size as the Lamy Capped. It's a little bit bigger than the Faber-Castell. It's about exactly the same as the Caran d'Ache, although it's a little more comfortable in the Caran d'Ache because the section's bigger. It's got a nice big section. I've got no complaints about the section size on this guy. Let's uncap them. Okay, so here's a comparison of all these guys uncapped and posted. You can see that it's a pretty medium length pen. It's actually a good bit shorter than the All-Star when posted. It's longer than the Loom. These guys have it outclassed. By the way, it's a bad idea to post the 580s because if you forget and try to twist the cap off, it will shoot ink everywhere. I will try to remember. And of course, it's a little bit bigger than the Mini. All right, let's look at it just unposted and uncapped. All right, and there you go. It's a pretty medium-length pen, uncapped and unposted. A little bit smaller than the All-Star, but not too much. Pretty well in the same, size range as most of these other pens, aside from the VAC Mini, which is, of course, a mini pen that's meant to be sort of a pockety sort of pen. All right. That's kind of it for this review. In short, this is a pen that I like quite a lot. Come on now. Tried to put the wrong cap on there. Don't do that. There we go. I was like, why does this not go on at all? All right. But this is a pen that I don't have any problems with really at all. I mean, the section is, I suppose, the weakest part, but it doesn't bother me much. If it bothers you, then maybe not the pen for you. But if you can overlook the section issues, and none of them are, bad issues, then this is going to be a pen that you're going to enjoy, I think. And at $44, it is squarely in the middle of more expensive pens and cheaper sorts of pens, and I think it outperforms anything lower than this price point, except for maybe the Ecos and Eco Ts. I really like the Eco Ts, and also the Faber-Castell Loom. I think those are great too, but it also has a metal section, so if you hate metal sections, and it is a little bit wonky looking. Whereas this one I think is a pretty classy looking pen, comes in several different colors. I've recently seen a blue one, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's of course the Lincoln one, which is sort of a brushed like copper or brushed brass kind of look to it. It looks gorgeous. But these are great looking pens. They're sturdy, good beater pens for sure. Just throw in your pocket. They will get some notice because that nib is pretty outstanding. Yeah, no problems with this pen. So definitely go and check it out at your favorite fountain pen retailer. And I will see y'all later on. Peace out. Sure, exactly what it is. And like I said, I can't remember if this came with a pen or not. I wish I could. In fact, I'll just stop and look it up.